Episode 8.
Man.
It's been a road. It has been a road, but to say the least, like, we've been blessed to have this opportunity to share with the people everything that we've been through. Not everything, but most of the things that we've been through. It's been a ride. We've given this our all. We are going to continue to just keep rocking and rolling. So we certainly hope that you stay tuned in with us and just keep the wave going. So I'm just going to jump right in and just, let's have a real conversation about some real things.
Okay.
As we've been doing these whole 8 episodes. But anyway, like, I just want to know, how do you feel about mentorship, about paying for information, about getting guidance? Because for myself personally, I've had a couple of run-ins, so to speak. And we share some differences when it comes to like this mentoring and coaching stuff, because not everybody is real like you. Like, you're my friend, so I know that what you're saying and what you're doing is real. But there's some people that definitely hide behind social media and glitz and glam, and they sell you a dream. I myself personally, when I first moved to Houston, we hired a marketing firm.
Okay.
It was a disaster. When we first came out to visit, she sat down with us, she sold us all these dreams, produced nothing. It was just a bumpy road. She helped us with the logo, and after that, she didn't do anything that she promised. It was lie after lie, missed phone calls, just not keeping up with what was going on.
Okay, never mind. Keep
going. I'm not gonna say a name. But after all of that happened, like, I started to see some other people she had scammed as well.
Gotcha.
And my heart went out to him, because when you're a new business owner, you're investing in your business, and sometimes you're investing money that you don't even have. You're investing a portion of maybe your rent, your car note, your lights, money for food. You're investing a lot into that, and for somebody to just scam you out of it, like, people just, it was heartless. And another thing too, like, people would not even sell you information back when I first started. So it makes me feel leery now about even getting any type of mentorship, coaching, or anything like that. So with that being your side of things, tell the people what would you say to make other people feel comfortable, because I'm just not comfortable. I guess I don't have that to worry about, because you and I are so close. So it's like, hey, I already got that.
Scam you.
Yeah.
And just, hey.
Don't do it, friend. Don't do it, friend.
Nah, I'm going to answer this in a way that I don't get emotional, because of the fact that this is what I do, right? So at the end of the day, for anyone to think that coaching and mentorship is a scam in any regard could potentially mean that what I do is, scamming. So I'm going to answer this in a way so that way I can detach myself emotionally, you know what I'm saying, from the topic. So when I first started in the tax space, okay, I started first with my colleague, and we were under someone else's like branding, right? So she opened up an office, but we were under like somebody else. And so when she decided to jump out and start her own tax business, basically all she did was just mimic everything that they had and just slapped her brand, on it. Okay.
So wait a minute. She took somebody else's.
Now that ain't the point of the story, though.
Well, I'm trying to get the juice.
No, but this is the point. So the point is, it wasn't no tutelage, no guidance, no nothing. She just took a model that was already established and just recreated the model, for herself. And that's how I learned the tax space, because again, this particular individual, that's who I helped, launch that brand, right? So with that being said, when I came into the industry, there was no formal training. There was no mentorship, coaching, none of that stuff. And keep in mind, like I told you guys and shared with you guys back, maybe episode 2, I jumped in like after I did 1 season with her. So mind you, a tax season is just a couple of months. We don't go a full year. It's like 4 or 5 months. We out of there. When I did 1 season with her, after that, I jumped out and opened up flat fee after 1 season. So mind you, let's follow me what I'm saying. She didn't get no real coaching and guidance. I just kind of learned whatever I could learn from her. And then I opened up my own tax office. You get what I'm saying? Like, follow the progression. So throughout the span of all of this, nobody really had any formal training. Now, we looked good because we had bomb logos, locations, this, that, and the third, but technically, we still were unlearned in the regard of running a tax business, right? So when I had my first season, granted, I'm not going to lie, I made money, but I still was in the red because technically I really genuinely did not know what I was doing, right? So this was the first time in life through the course of me being an entrepreneur, this, that, and the third, that I, decided to get a mentor, right? When I got the mentor, I literally had to break his fee up into, I want to say about 5 payments. Okay. And I'm going to be honest with you. Today, I look back at that invoice, it was only $2,500 and I'm mortified, now
that
to where I'm at. I'm like, dang, I had to break this up into 5 payments.
But again, that's what I said about, sacrificing.
That part. So I sacrificed. But when I tell you that after 2 months of being under his tutelage, I had a $30,000 month. Do you hear me? 30,000. Some people don't even make 30,000 in a year. I made a $30,000 month, and this was outside of the tax season. So let's be clear. This wasn't me, doing taxes and making. This is outside of the season. You know what I'm saying? Through the tax space. So again, for me, mentorship and coaching has changed my life substantially. The coaches and mentors that I have are the truth, and I take the same regard with my mentees, and they will probably attest, the same way. So when my mentor has any type of program, I done spend $5,000 with him, $10,000 here, this, that, and the third. I will invest because the track record, because there's a return on the investment. So for me, I think that is absolutely needed for everybody in entrepreneurship to have some form of mentorship and coaching. Now, does it always have to be paid? I don't know, but
you get what you pay for, though.
I'm about to say, for me, time is money. I'm not about to give you all my juices and my hard-earned sweat and tears and my whatever just for free. The game is to be sold, not to be told.
And I get that, and I guess for people that's traumatized about certain situations, like, how do you just jump off the porch and say, you know what, I'm gonna get a mentor, I'm gonna get a coach, or what have you? Because there is so much stuff that's watered down now. There are so many people who's just out here selling a dream, and I mean, it's even like with our show, like, we're giving people the side that they don't show on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. We're giving them the side that people don't even talk about, because everybody is going to sell you the glory. Nobody is going to tell you the story. So what would make one feel comfortable, in your opinion, about getting a mentor? Like, how can you say, you know what, I'm gonna invest these $5,000 or $10,000 or whatever? This is a big sacrifice, and it's a big risk too. We talked about a couple shows back, like what risk would you take? But what is it worth? What is it worth it to you? How much worth it? How much is it worth it to take that risk? I guess is what I'm trying to say. I mean, like, what would you say to sell? Not like just a dream, dog, not like saying a dream, but how would you convince someone that's like myself, who at this particular point, like I don't know, man. It's gonna be more than what I'm seeing in order for me to be like, yeah, I'm gonna get a mentor, I'm gonna get a coach. It's definitely gonna have to be more than that. And sometimes you can't even trust testimonials. So what does one do at that point?
Well, I'm actually glad that you said that. Because that's what I was actually gonna say. So thank you for saying that, because contrary to what people believe, it is hard as hell, and I'm gonna say hard as hell, to get people to give you a testimonial.
It is.
Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I have been in rooms where people are snotting, crying, bringing the praise of Miss Cat. And oh, you have changed this information is whatever. And that I'll be like, okay, can you just do me one favor and just leave me a testimonial? Like, can you just go on Google? Oh yeah, I got you, and never do. So just because I know from experience, that's all I can say. Just because I know from experience, that would be the first thing that I would say is, when you're looking for a mentor or a coach, don't look at their lifestyle. And the reason why I say don't look at their lifestyle,
that's good.
Don't look at their lifestyle, because even if they are a millionaire, even if they are jumping out Bentleys and private jets and this, that, and the third, what does that have to do with you? Like, are you going to be able to, because that's my coach, now I can go dig in your bank account and go get some of your money? No. So don't look for the lifestyle, look for the result. And if they are saying, I guarantee.
But we live in a visual world, though.
Well,
we live in a visual world.
Hey, if people want to, sawed off of that, that's fine. But in my opinion, those are most of the people that are scamming. That's because what they're doing is taking that coaching money and financing a certain type of lifestyle. So if that's what people search for, hey, do what you do. But the question was, how do we find a good mentor? So I say by the fruit that they bear.
Right.
And
fruit don't lie. Fruit
don't lie. And if you like I said, it's one thing if somebody go to Google and see a typed up Google review, but it's a whole nother story when you see somebody on video crying, or like I said, you can't pay people to get on video and give you a testimonial. So if you see time after time after time, people ringing the praise of this person, you know what I mean? And they say, hey, you go through my program and I guarantee that you do X, Y, Z. Because the great thing about it is, when somebody guarantee you and you don't get that result, you can clearly say, well, hey, Miss Cat, you told me if I go through your program, you was going to help me get an LLC. I don't have an LLC. I want my money back. You get what I'm saying? So like I said, for me, are there like trackable things? You know what I'm saying? Things that we could check off a list to say, you know what? They gave me a guarantee. They're telling me straight up and down. They're not just telling me, hey, I'm gonna make you rich and we're gonna do wild flights of fancy and you know what I'm saying? No, they're telling me straight up and down, hey, boom, 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 this is exactly what I do. And you have people that like vouch for them and can, and you see, especially for me, like to make me make a move, if I see video and it's like back to back, because I'm looking at dates, I'm looking at date timestamps and all that, because something from 10 years ago don't hold the same weight, to me. So at the end of the day, if I'm seeing this recent results, I'm looking at their social media, they're doing events, you can do your proper due diligence and see if this person is legit or not. But if everything I see is a new watch and chain and this, that, and the third, I'm looking for results, not lifestyle.
But you know what else too, just to add to that, like I think that sometimes people don't want to put in the work. Like the work has, now you can get a coach, you can get a mentor, but you have to put in the work too. And I know that's a little bit off topic, but it's like you have to put in the work. So many people has, like to me, oversaturated the industry because they bought something that they didn't work for. And I'm not knocking it at all, but you can't pay for hustle. You can't pay for hustle.
But
it's got to be in you.
But no, and seriously, to that sentiment though, like you said, the coaching, it, like, it's just the guideline, but you still got to work the guide. You still got to. So it doesn't matter, you know, how much you pay for it, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. You still have to work the coaching. You still have to show up. A lot of people buy stuff and don't even show up. I've had people, and I like, I say this and I hope they ain't watching, but I've had people like literally.
I hope they're watching.
I had a person literally like pay me like seriously $8,000 for one of my programs and showed up 2-3 times. So I say that to say sometimes us coaches and mentors, and I'm looking right here in the camera because I want to make sure that we clear on this. Sometimes we ain't scamming. It's just that people ain't doing, they pay, they think that it's magic. Woohoo, now I'm gonna be a millionaire. No, like that's not how it works.
But that's why I said you can't buy the hustle. You can't. And you know what, just to kind of like piggyback off that too, like I think that the whole COVID thing kind of made people feel like you can buy it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can throw a couple dollars around and you're gonna be a hustler, you're gonna be an entrepreneur, you're gonna be this, you're gonna be that. But it doesn't work like that. So I think too, coaching and mentorship it definitely has to be something that you desire to be better. It's enhancing. It's not something that you start from ground zero and you feel like tomorrow or 6 months up the road you're gonna be this big millionaire or whatever. It's like you have to get what suits you too. You know what I'm saying? You have to get what suits you.
That's definitely fair. And speaking of the whole COVID thing and so on and so forth, it's unfortunate because what I think is a lot of people had a lot of talent inside of them, and it took for COVID and it took us to shut down for people to really realize like, like people will pay me for my wisdom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because this is the thing, what people have to understand. It takes, I think, and I don't know technically, but they say about 100 hours, right, for you to learn some new skill or whatever, right? If 100 hours. So you have the opportunity to do those 100 hours yourself, or you can pay somebody for their 100 hours worth of knowledge.
Okay.
So for me, coaching and mentorship is not a magic wand, but it is a fast track, because when people come through my mentorship, when it's time for them to set up their tax office, I'm showing them step by step. You don't have to go piece it together, go YouTube this piece, that piece. You get what I'm saying? Like step by step, I'm giving you the guide that nobody gave to me. So in essence, that is a fast track because you don't have to.
But you still got to have you got to have that dog in you still.
And I get that, but what I'm saying is it's still a fast track because you don't have to figure it out yourself.
Right.
Like something that will take you 3 to 5 years to try to figure it out and piece the pieces and take L's and this, that, and the third. No, now you have a blueprint. So that is super helpful, in some regard. I can make 6 figures in one season rather than, busting my head open 5 seasons and trying to figure it out.
Right.
So, in the vein of why coaching and mentorship is important, it's not a magic wand. You do have to show up. You do have to have that dog. You do have to hustle, but it is a fast track. That's the whole purpose of you, paying somebody for their expertise. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? Like the L's that I took before I had a coach, some of that stuff could have took me out, or it could have took me out.
Yeah, and it could have took you out.
So because of the fact that I had somebody to show me step by step, I avoided. I might have shut my business down after 2 years because I couldn't figure it out, or it was costing me too much money. Because in entrepreneurship, keep it a buck. Some of these L's ain't $2 L's.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You go, when you get into the tax space and you get a location because you think that's what you're supposed to do, now you taking a $50,000, $60,000 L, you know what I'm saying? Because nobody told you, boo, all you got to do is set up your office virtually. So what I'm saying is, just because I've been on both sides of the, of the check when it comes to
Literally.
coaching. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm such a big advocate, because like I said,
It's changed your life.
It has changed my
It's
life.
changed your life. And I mean,
tremendously. And I apologize to you and to everybody that's had such a bad experience, because that does suck. I'm not saying I don't take away from that, but when you do find the right coach, the right mentor, the person that is really true, tried and true, it can change your life. It could take you from being a thousandaire to a millionaire, and that's just real talk.
And I think that what you gave us is important to know as a person who is considering getting coaching or mentorship, just to help elevate, not just in business but personally, you know what I'm saying? Because there are some that help you to develop stronger skills in your personal life as well. And I think as an entrepreneur, it's important to have your personal skills elevated as well. So it's not always about the business, but I think doing my homework and advising other people to do their homework is going to be most important. And just in closing, just like, just know that anything that's free is not always good. So some of these coaching and investments, it's going to cost you. I know it's going to cost you.
Let me just say this. I'm a say this, and I'm going to land the plane.
Okay.
For a lack of better terms. I am definitely your biggest advocate when it comes to coaching and mentorship to the other coaches and mentors, because I'm one of them, and I respect it, and it is what it is. But for those that are not familiar, or you've been burnt, or whatever the case may be, if you're looking for your next coach or mentor, do your research.
Do your homework.
It's enough. Trust me, it's enough Googling to be Googled.
Oh yeah.
Right, to find out if somebody is scamming. Go to the. Trust me, if they've scammed, I'm sure somebody done tagged them in a few posts, something like that. But I will say, if you want to really take things to the next level, coaching and mentorship is going to cost you. And I'm not saying that because I want you don't have to spend one red nickel, penny, dime with me. But if you want to, I think last year alone, I probably spent about 60, 70,000 in coaching and mentorship, because me as a coach and mentor, I want to be sharp.
You got to keep elevating yourself.
I want to keep, be on my dean, so I could be the best that I can be, for my people. So I advocate for it. Do you have to do it? To each its own. But if you want to take your business to the next level, me personally, I would suggest, to find a coach, find a mentor, whatever that looks like for you. It might be, just time, energy versus money. It might be money. You might have to make a sacrifice. But if this person can take you from, making 10,000 a year to 10,000 a month, I think that it's worth, doing some research, and instead of buying them J's and that new Coach bag or whatever y'all be doing out there, I think it's worth the investment, in my opinion.
Well, I get you said it all. I'm LaShonda Don, and no risk, no reward.
For sure. And just to close this thing out, we're wrapping up this season. We appreciate every single one of you guys that have tuned in, all the comments, all the love, all the support. We're going to bring in season 2 even stronger. So, tell a friend to check out both sides of the check, because we ain't going to stop. We're going to keep showing up.
For sure. For sure.
So, guys, I'm Miss Kat, your coach, accountability partner, and teacher.
And I'm LaShonda Don with the Party Palace.
And we're both sides of the check.